back. Another episode, Chasing Points Podcast, episode 151. Starting this one off saying Happy Veterans Day to all the veterans as we're recording. That is what day it is. Special thanks to my father who served in Vietnam. Appreciate you, Dad. Shout outs to a friend of the show, Jeff, also a veteran as well, and his wife, Audrey, veterans as well. So there's many more people. I would spend a lot of time here doing that. But if you are listening, you are a friend of the show. We definitely love and respect you. And then to those that we don't know around the world, we appreciate you for what you have done for us and what you continue to do for us. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Gentlemen, it was a interesting day of football. Harris and I talked about it before you came here, Sam. We didn't watch enough of it, but I got to see some highlights. I know a couple things that happened, very important things that happened. Some good college football. We will not be talking about that on here. Harrison will be talking about some basketball. We will be doing our rankings, our non-rankings, which has changed. And we got a very special thing at the end, which is only right that we ended that way. So, gentlemen, how are you doing today?
Ooh, I thought you were going to skip it. You usually fit it in the middle. I'm glad that you asked. Happy Monday or Tuesday for those that are listening.
I don't know why I asked it. I don't know why I asked because you guys never asked me back. So here we go.
We had this conversation. You are the host. You don't get the benefit of the question.
Okay. Remember that. I'll remember that going forward.
But I'm doing great. Sam, how are you doing?
Harrison, thanks so much for asking, man. I'm doing really great. I had a great day with my family, and here we are.
Great.
Awesome. How are you?
I'm swell. I'm really, really good.
Awesome.
Couldn't be happier to be here. Take it away, Hayes.
This is great podcasting.
Yeah.
I think Hayes' microphone broke.
I'm not frozen, by the way, just so you people know.
Yeah,
I'm just sitting here listening to my asshole friends not say anything to me. I'm fine. I was better until I came on this goddamn podcast. I had to talk to you two nimwits. Goodness gracious. So yeah, gentlemen, let's get into some football. We'll get into some dubs since you don't care how I feel, but I'll tell you how I feel about a particular person, and it's Nick Sirianni. It's a surprise, probably to some that have listened and been following, but he's actually my dub for this week, where I've had him as L's. I think it's only right that, when you essentially defecate on somebody so many times that when they do actually have some highlights or some good things, attributes that are shining, you should probably highlight it. So it's essentially poop with glitter on it. So sometimes it might still just be poop, but there's just glitter on it. But in this case, Nick has done something really, really good. So he's led the Eagles to a record of being 7-2, which is top tier with a lot of teams, right? Well, I think there's 3 or 4 teams that have that record right now. But this is his third straight season with a 5-game plus winning streak. And during this time, there's only been 2 other coaches that has done the same thing. Big Red, as in Andy Reid with the Chiefs, and McDermott with the Bills. The fact that he has led this team to do this, and I know a lot of people will say the team has done this out of spite, which I somewhat believe in certain cases. But I do want to give him respect. The team does talk highly of him. Even though the media says something different every time the players speak, they speak highly of their coach. We can tell that it is valid because there's a particular player that did not speak highly of his coach, which we'll get to very soon. But just want to give him love for that and say go Birds.
I don't have much on Nick Sirianni, but is Big Red like a common nickname for Andy Reid?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. I missed that. I didn't know that.
Okay. Yeah. He said 2 other coaches, but I don't know if he named them. But yeah,
I did.
Yeah,
I said Big Red and McDermott.
I was thinking when you started this segment, Hayes, that if I told you even a couple weeks ago that you said Nick Sirianni is leading the Eagles to a 5-game winning streak, you would have slapped me because
Absolutely.
I'm still not even convinced he's leading the Eagles, but he's there. So yeah, that's
agreed.
a That's good
Agreed.
company to be in. Those are two other really good coaches in Andy Reid and Sean McDermott. So
I'd say so.
If he a big game obviously this week, Eagles Commanders. If the
Friday
Eagles
night,
lose
or
that
Thursday night.
does he go back on the L section?
No, not necessarily. I mean, it's a tough game. It's a very, very tough game. So I don't want to. I wouldn't want to diminish that. But I will say that since he's been with the Eagles, his record has been 43-22. So I'd say that's fairly good.
It's good.
I'd say so.
Many organizations would trade for that. That's for sure.
That is for sure. That is for sure. Yeah. All right. So with that said, I don't care what either one of their dubs are, so I'm going to go to mine again. No, Harrison, what is your Harrison? What is your dub?
My dub of the week will be the Lions. It looked bleak early for them. Texans were kind of running all over the field, and then the Texans decided not to really run the ball anymore. But the Lions did find a way to win. You have Jared Goff throwing 5 interceptions. It's not common that you have a quarterback throw 5 interceptions and win the game, but they were able to squeak it out, and they continue to find ways to win. And now they're sitting at 8-1, still clearly in the driver's seat. And they've got some easy games coming up, with the Jaguars, the Colts, and then the Bears. So they're going to just keep rolling, and for them to get through what potentially could have been a speed bump yesterday and come out with the win. Jared Goff threw more picks yesterday than he did all last season. So that's really fun. But, if he can turn the page and just they can continue on the path that they're on, kudos to them.
I think this game moves Jared Goff out of the MVP conversation.
I think so.
Just because of the 5 picks. I mean, I understand the team still won. It's just because it's a great team constructed around him. But I think that moves him out of that conversation. But, man, the Texans.
5 is a lot.
Texans. How I don't understand. I want people to realize if you watch the full game, a lot of people left that were probably Lions fans at halftime that were there. I'm sure a lot of Lions fans that were at home turned the TV off. I'm sure people that aren't fans of either turn the TV off or change the channel at halftime. The fact that this team was able to rally and come back and win the way that they did by the skinniest of margins of error
literally,
right there. Literally, you could see the shadow of the ball go past the goalpost. That's how close it was. I think this speaks very highly again to the coach, to the culture, to the team. But it sends a message to every team in the NFL that we can literally be at our worst and we still can come back and whoop your ass if we have to. And that shit is scary, which is why I honestly think right now in the whole entire league, I know the Chiefs are undefeated, but that is the best team in football right now. Period.
Yeah, great teams find a way to win, and that's why they're great teams. Like, not every game is going to go exactly how you planned out, but if you can find a way to win at the end, that's just a marker of, a really good football team and a really good organization, which is what they are. So they're not to be taken lightly. I don't think anyone's taking them lightly at this point, but they are where they should be. Probably should be 7-2, but they're 8-1. So that is what it is.
They are who we thought they were. Let them get them off the hook. Sam, you have the Bills.
Yeah. And what was that loss? Was that to the Bucs too? Was that the game? I don't remember.
They lost to the Bucs. Yeah, week 2.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So I mean, just again, turns out to be a pretty decent team. But yeah. We'll bury the Texans a little bit more in a second. But yeah, I have the Bills. Just 5-game winning streak, 30 points in the last 4 games. Josh Allen threw some picks. Joe Flacco, that pumpkin, turned into a pumpkin again. That time's up there. I don't know what we're doing here. Like, okay, are we competing, or are we going to let Anthony Richardson figure out, or are we going to figure out if Anthony Richardson's an NFL quarterback at this point?
Yep.
Because I'm not quite sure what. That's on the Colts there. But talk about team, off to a rough start to start the year, the Bills, and have just been playing really well. And now they're, head-on collision with the undefeated Chiefs in Orchard Park on Sunday. And that's been must-watch television over the years as Allen and Mahomes have battled, whether it's the playoffs or in the regular season. So, here's another test here for this Bills team, but just I think quietly playing really well and finding ways to win, even when, Josh Allen kind of turned into Superman in the second half of that game. But, again, it wasn't the prettiest, but a dub's a dub, and, on to Kansas City, I guess. But yeah, just wanted to call them out.
Yeah, they have the second best point differential in the league. They're plus 97, only behind the Lions, who are plus 113. They have a 5-game lead in the division. So that's super rare that you're 10 games in and up by 5. So there's no one catching them. And if they just continue to play solidly.
That's a wild stat, man. I don't even know if, like, in the Tom Brady Patriot era, if the Patriots ever led by 5 games.
That's
crazy.
It's very, very rare. I'd have to look it up, and I can't remember the last time a team was basically completely dominating a division the way they are. And they still haven't even had a ton of divisional games yet. So it could even balloon further than that.
Don't worry. They're going to watch them.
Yeah.
I just want to highlight a point because Harrison said it, Sam, you said it, and I agree with the sentiment so much. I know if you're a fan of the team, you want your team to blow the other team out, right? You want them to get a easy win on paper. You want to just see rest, relax, right? Honestly, I do too. I always say that I have essentially a 4-hour anxiety attack when the Eagles start playing, right? And no offense to anybody that has that. I'm obviously very, very sympathetic and empathetic to that. But it drives me absolutely nuts. But those type of games makes me, when you come out on the other end of it, it makes me feel so encouraged about my team. And I don't really care how my team wins. I might say it's ugly. I might cuss them out throughout all that. But as long as they win, it doesn't matter. And at the end of the day, on the sheet, that's what matters. And I know there's critics and so on and so forth, which we'll get to about the Chiefs, or I will soon. A win's a win. And that's a great point that you both highlighted. And speaking of that, that's what Mike Tomlin continues to do. He continues to win. And they did exactly what I just said. They were able to squeak one by past the Commanders. Yes, people are saying that it's a very the Commanders got robbed. I don't believe that at all. I think they got Ertz, and I love Ertz, but they got him before he was able to get a first down. But again, it's not just one play. There's multiple plays that lead up to that. They allowed the Steelers back in the game that beat the Commanders. But my kudos is to Mike Tomlin, and it's because what he continues to do. The outside world always talks about him and all the moves that he makes. And this year he had Justin Fields starting. And then when Russ was good to go, he came in and played. When the whole world was talking the whole offseason about who was going to be the starter, right? We debated it on here, who was going to be the starter, when it was going to be what. And he said before the season started that it was going to be Russ. Russ got injured. Justin Fields came in. Then they were winning with Justin Fields, and then Russ comes in. And everybody's, oh, no. And Mike Tomlin just said, hold my beer. And he continues to win, and he continues to make the right moves and pull the trigger. And I saw, I forgot what the stat was, but essentially since Russ has come into the offense, they scored 10 more points than they did with Justin Fields on there. So they were still winning with Justin Fields, but they scored 10 more points with Russ. Mike Tomlin is just, he's a Hall of Fame coach. We're watching a Hall of Fame coach in action. And I for sure am not going to take it for granted, especially that my Birds play him later on this year. So kudos to him. He is a walking legend, and he comes from the Tony Dungy tree, which is a very special tree too, which if you guys don't know who comes under that, you should check that out on your own. So shout out to Mike Tomlin.
Yeah, I had the Steelers too as the Steelers as a dub. So I'll piggyback off of that, and I will never doubt Mike Tomlin again. And I knew I probably said that in the preseason too, but I was not impressed with Arthur Smith and the Steelers here, and eating my words here. But yeah, hey, since Justin Fields was benched or became QB2, Steelers have averaged 382 yards a game. and and have more than 31 points per game since then. So,
yep.
Just, and again, finding ways to win. And this was the offense carrying the defense here, because as you know, Washington has a pretty explosive offense to play. And it wasn't the defense's day, but it worked out, and that's winning football and winning culture. And, we talk about it a lot, but the Steelers are just built different. And, from top to bottom, to have 3 coaches in the entirety of the franchise's history is insane.
Yeah.
So, kudos there to Pittsburgh.
Yeah, continuity is huge. Chemistry is huge, and they have all that in spades. Just want to shout out Russell Wilson as well. I mean,
I knew it.
You have to.
Knew it.
A lot of people wrote him off for dead. We've talked about it. A really bad year with the Broncos, and a tough exit with the Seahawks. But he still can play ball, and he's still, he's moving the ball well. He's managing the game well. He's not turning it over, and he's definitely helps flip that switch. Like you said, they've scored 32, 37, 26, 28, and that's really all that defense needs. So, I was very high on the Steelers going in because of their defense, and their defense has been, as formidable as I thought they would be sans last week. But if they can continue to score at this output and have the defense to match, it's going to be, it's a tough division with Baltimore, and we got a nice collision course this week with Pittsburgh and Baltimore coming up. But, the winner of that game can kind of shape the rest of the season and who's going to take that division and who's going to be in the driver's seat going into the playoffs. So, yeah, Steelers, kudos.
3 things. Steeler Nation, let's ride. 2, you can always count on Harrison to shout out his biracial brothers.
Have to. Got to stick together.
Don't worry. He's going to be talking about another one in a second.
I am.
And third, to your point of or talking about the offense, defenses are going to, I said like a week ago or 2 weeks ago that Russ still throws one of the prettiest deep balls. But the thing is, they're making a lot of their yards on these big deep ball plays. Defenses are going to adjust to that. And then I want to see what happens from that point forward. So I'll leave it at that. But there's a tiny tyke out in Arizona that is fluttering his legs and fluttering his wings for his Cardinals. Harrison, you have the Cards.
I do. I have to shout out the Cardinals. 4 wins in a row. They've won 5 of their last 6 after starting 1-3. They have the 3rd easiest schedule in the NFC remaining. So why not the Cards? But for Kyler to throw 17 straight completions yesterday, throw for 91% completion percentage. And the Cardinals were basically getting anything they wanted on the Jets, anytime, screens, long passing plays, runs. The offense looked super explosive yesterday, and the defense is slowly rounding into form. There's not going to be a lot of guys on the defense that are going to stand out other than really Budda Baker, but the team defense was really solid. And yeah, you're playing the Jets who look pretty misaligned and kind of a mess all over offensively, but they handled business, and they're tops of the NFC West, and they've got an easy schedule coming up. So let's go Cards.
The Cards are 5-1 in their last 6 games. They've beaten the Niners, Chargers, the Dolphins with Tua, the Bears, and the Jets. And the points, the point differential with the last 2 games, the Bears and the Jets, 60-15.
I like how you emphasize the Dolphins with Tua. Like that's actually doing a damn thing this year.
Well,
it's not doing anything.
It's better than whatever. Skylar Thompson. But
they won that game by 1, and it took to the last minute. But the Dolphins they're not in my non-powerless rankings because of they're still a good football team. So they are playing some good teams, and they have some good teams coming up. But kind of teams they can beat, and if they can continue to play the way they're playing offensively, they should win the NFC West.
There you go. Sam, your L is the Texans.
Yeah, we just talked about it. You can't pick a guy off 5 times and lose a football game. You can't do it. And Houston scored on their first 4 offensive possessions to start the game. I think it was 3 field goals, and I think Mixon ran it in. But yeah, you can't lose that game. 19 unanswered. It was 23-7 at halftime. Hayes, you referenced that, and that's when I turned the game on mute and I was putting together these notes and everything, and then I kind of look up and I'm like, whoa. So, again, good teams find a way to win, and this is a bad couple quarters here for the Texans too, because they fell apart in the second half of the Jets game on Thursday Night Football, where they were pretty handily beating the Jets to start that game, and the Jets again were beating themselves, but not what you want from your team. They're a young team. We feel pretty good about the pieces on this team and the coaching on that Texans team, but rough couple games here for the Houston Texans. You can't lose those games. Just can't.
Yeah, it's an unfortunate loss for them. I thought they definitely got a little cute in the second half, and CJ Stroud definitely said he's shouldering the blame for this one. They're still 2 games ahead of the rest of the division, and the rest of the division is really bad. So,
yep.
I'm sure Sam's not writing them off yet. Neither am I. I think they'll be fine coming up. They moved a lot of their pieces around on the offensive line. They have a lot of injuries. They had their tackle playing guard yesterday. They're depleted injury wise, but they do get Nico Collins back next week. So I just want to see him in the weeks coming up, because I still think they can be, a tough out in the playoffs, and they'll make the playoffs because of how bad their division is.
I know who Sam is writing off, and you're also writing off, is the team they beat, the Jets. But you're probably writing this team off as well, Harrison. You have the Bears.
I am. So since the Hail Mary, they have not scored a touchdown.
Mm-hmm.
They've looked completely inefficient. They've scored 9 points and now 3 points yesterday against the Patriots. And we've talked about the Patriots ad nauseum throughout this year as being one of the worst teams in the league. So, losing to one of the worst teams in the league handedly, not even close, you have to put them as your L. We were high on them. There was a moment in time where basically everyone in the NFC North was, winning and over 500, but they've obviously taken that back seat. And unfortunately for them, they have the toughest remaining schedule in the NFC. Their opponents have a 708 winning percentage, so it's not going to get better for them. Silver lining, as long as they keep losing, they will get rid of this coach, and this coach is not the answer for them. So, if they can make those moves in the offseason, like we said, get a coach, shore up the offensive line, because the offensive line is brutally bad, and not kill Caleb Williams' confidence while doing so, the future is still bright for them, but this year is going to be definitely a write-off.
I love saying I told you so, but I'm not going to do that, because I don't like seeing Caleb fail. I don't like seeing young quarterbacks fail. But this is such a weird situation, because this is, as we've talked about it to a nauseating extent amongst our peers in media, this was the best setup for a rookie to come into a team with the weapons that were around him. And again, this is why on paper things look great, but you actually have to play the damn game. And what affects that game is head coach, which they should have probably got rid of Eberflus in the offseason and started fresh. But the way that he ended the season last year with Justin Fields, they said, you know what, let's just keep him around. It pisses me off to kind of just watch this. And I know they asked him, because they asked Eberflus about potentially benching Caleb. And they asked Caleb, like, what was his thoughts? Number one, to the reporter that said that, go eat something. Why would you ask somebody that? And I know you're trying to get a reaction out of him. And Caleb handled it very, very well. He said, I don't believe that that's what they want to do. But if whatever the coach wants to do, I'll go with that. He's like, but I don't believe that's what the situation is. It doesn't make sense. What Caleb really wanted to say, and I'll be his interpreter, are you stupid? Are you dumb? Do you think they're really going to sit me and put who in? To do what? With what offensive line? With what coach? Tell me. But you can't say that.
I'm not. I don't want to cape for Caleb, but if you look at the film and look at the routes they're running, they're not giving him any outs or options. Like they just straight up run verticals and basically long in
just
routes.
Gonna say that, man.
And that's all they do. And that is, yes, Caleb has looked like he struggled, but they have no outs, and that's a game planning situation. That's coaching. You're calling the plays, and then again, what are you going to do? It's the same thing with the Colts and Anthony Richardson. You're not going to win a Super Bowl this year, so play your guy and get him the reps.
Exactly.
Yes, you're going to look bad and you're going to take losses. That's perfectly fine, but he needs to have the games, and you need to play the games to see what you have. I think we've seen a good amount from Caleb Williams this year where he does have good flashes, but you have to be put in a position to succeed, and you have to be given screenplays or short routes or any type of outlets. They literally don't run any of that, and it's maddening. It's maddening. Yeah. If you look at the route trees of the wide receivers compared to other teams, like a Brock Purdy, for instance, it's insane how they're operating, and it needs to be changed. But right now is not the time to change it.
Yeah, and we were, a lot of people were high on Shane Waldron coming over from the Seahawks to be the OC for the Bears. It hasn't worked. It sounds like there may be some changes in who's the play caller now in Chicago. But to your point, Harrison, I saw this. I saw this like overlay a couple weeks ago. It was JSN's routes.
Yes, I was just going to mention
with the Seahawks, and then when with Waldron, and now that Waldron's gone, like his routes now, and it's insane. It's they're such a weapon. They're using them everywhere in motion and all these quick outs and all these stuff in the backfield. And you have the talent on this team. I mean, Keenan Allen is Mr. Possession receiver.
Yeah,
catches everything. DJ Moore is not washed in any regard, and Roma Dunze went top 10 for a reason. There's talent on this offense. It's just not getting open. It's not getting schemed to get open. And it's very predictable, and it's costing the Bears wins.
Yeah, and I was that's a perfect mention, because that's exactly what I saw, the one from JSN, and they even interviewed JSN after the OC had left, and they're like, and he wanted to give like the real answer, but he gave the diplomatic answer, and he said diplomacy. I got to it. Diplomatic answer. And he said, good luck to them. And now we're seeing why he said that. They are very one-dimensional, and they're not helping their rookie quarterback out, not one bit.
A team that's not helping their rookie out, it's the Giants. They're not helping their rookie wide receiver out. They didn't help their rookie wide receiver out last year in Hyatt either, because they have a quarterback that they decided to be the franchise over Saquon Barkley. They decided to continue to run whatever they think they're running. They have a phenomenal defensive line that can't even get to the quarterback anymore because they're too damn tired, because they're always on the field because their quarterback on the other side can't do anything. These guys just lost to the Panthers in Germany. I'm going to say that again. The Giants walked their lily asses up a plane, hopped over the pond, and went to play the Panthers, led by Harrison's favorite quarterback, Bryce Young, and they lost.
They did.
By the way, Chubber looks so good. So damn good. But yeah, I don't. The Giants, the Jets, New York. What are we doing? That's why I continue to say, when people talk to me that don't know me and they're talking about sports, I said the only real team in New York for football is the Buffalo Bills, because technically they are the only real team in New York, and the Giants, Jets play in Jersey, and they smell like Secaucus because it's absolute trash in both of those organizations right now. Sorry, Sam, for the stray, but I'm not sorry, because I know you feel the same way. Giants suck, Jets suck. Giants really, really suck, and they will be they're working their way to be the number one contender for the first round pick. So Shador, Ward, Milroe are all on there. Shout outs to having a black quarterback coming to New York.
If the draft was right now, they'd pick second. The Jags would be the first. Would have the first pick.
Well, they're not picking a quarterback. You know that.
Yeah, it's a mess. there. Another team that's a mess too, the Bengals. Have you? I saw the stat after they lost by 1 on Thursday night to the Ravens. 820 yards and 9 touchdowns, Joe Burrow against the Ravens this year. They lost both games by a combined 4 points.
That stat was from me, guys, that I sent to Sam.
Pain.
Was it?
Yeah, I sent it to the group.
Sorry. Well, I have a screenshot from Instagram, so I'll credit
okay.
Hayes here and CBS Sports. But yeah, dude, you can't. Right. The beginning of that game, Herbie and Al Michaels giving so much love to what's his name, the DC for the Bengals, and then again just all fell apart again. And the Ravens keep doing this too. I mean, this has been a theme today. Like these teams like figuring out a way to win. Ravens have some pretty ugly losses on the season too. Don't get me wrong, but you have to win these games, big divisional game. Mm-hmm. And again, Joe Burrow's doing his part here, but this defense is a mess. And yeah, they could easily, these teams record-wise could easily be flipped if you change a couple plays throughout the season. The Bengals have lost, closely, pretty bad a couple times. But yeah, your record is your record, and you play who you play, and it's a mess in Cincinnati for sure.
Well, about a mess. There's normally people that are hired to clean up messes, especially in like schools and like offices. And for some reason, Harrison put the Saints janitor. So I'm wondering if you can clean this up for me and clear this up for me, because I don't know why the hell this is on here.
So the Saints had a good day. They should probably be in the dub. They won the game. But post-game comments from the new head coach or interim head coach, Darren Rizzi, he said, I'm a pretty open guy. I go to the bathroom. This is how my day started. And I clogged the toilet. So I thought today was going to be a pretty crappy day. So I just want to hand an L to the Saints janitor who had to clean up that mess after the coach messed up his own coaching room toilet. So I can't believe you guys didn't see this one.
No, I had no idea.
I wish I didn't hear this one.
I wish this was redacted, but
it's one of the funnier post-game comments I've ever heard.
Yeah, I have to check that out. Sure.
But I appreciate his openness and sharing that with the media. Seems like a pretty funny guy, so maybe have a breath of levity at the helm with the Saints, which they need. But yeah, sorry to the Saints janitor that had to rectify that shitty situation.
I see what you did there, and I don't like it.
I like that.
I don't like it, Sam. Do not encourage this. Don't encourage this shit, please. Pun intended. Oh God! All right, Micah Parsons.
With that, Hayes.
Micah Parsons.
That make sense. We should let Hayes talk about the Cowboys right after.
Speaking of shit, there's a big pile of it down in that $1 billion stadium down in Arlington, Texas. The Cowboys continue to suck. We got the news this week, or after we did the pause, that Dak is going to potentially be out for the rest of the year. He's getting a second opinion in New York. Hopefully he's not going to see a Giants fan, because they're probably going to tell you, like, yeah, bro, you should probably get that all surgeryed up. But Micah, after losing to the Eagles, Micah Parsons had a very, very interesting comment to say, which when I heard it this morning, I thought was very, very odd to say, because you don't really hear players say this. Micah says this, referring to his head coach. Mike can leave and go wherever he wants. Guys I kind of feel bad for are guys like Zach Martin and guys who might be on their last year or on their way out, because that's who I wanted to hold the trophy for. You weren't going to hold the trophy. You want to win games and do great things with those types of legends who put in more time and work than Mike McCarthy ever did.
He used his name?
He literally said his name.
Jeez. I heard
He
the
said-
first part of that quote. I did not hear the end of it. Jeez.
He said, "Those are the kinds of guys I have so much sympathy and hurt for." So, I would love to hear your guys' opinion on it, but I'll give you mine first. I love Micah because he's a Penn State guy, and I don't think Micah is going to be a Cowboy for life. I do not think that. Especially with all the money that's tied up. I don't know how they do it. If they do it, they're not going to have a team whatsoever. I see Micah potentially being a casualty on this team, but we'll see how that plays out. But I've never heard a guy flat out call out his coach and say his name like that, and then say a Super Bowl winning coach in Mike McCarthy has never done anything when Micah hasn't even sniffed a Super Bowl. I understand that he may be frustrated, which it's very clear that he is, and a lot of people are as well. And a lot of people feel, at least from what I've talked to a couple of people and just read, people feel that since he's one of the leaders, quote unquote leaders in the team, that he's a guy that can step up and really say what he wants to say and not really get backlash. Well, I don't believe that's true because he's getting absolutely destroyed everywhere in media. I don't understand how Micah says this and thinks that this is not going to ruin the locker room if it wasn't already ruined. I would love to hear what you guys think of it because I think it's just honestly, this is what Jerry's team has bred, and something's gonna have to give soon, real soon, like probably today or tomorrow.
Yeah, and Jerry said he's not firing McCarthy, right? Last I heard. So I don't know what to say. I mean, I already think it's a dumpster fire. This is clearly something that's been brewing. I mean, they had a horrible exit in the playoffs last year to the Packers at home. They have minus 94 point differential at home. That's the sixth worst in NFL history through their first 4 home games. So this is, this team is beyond
repair
fixing here. But yeah, no, I agree with your sentiments about Micah. He's always been very about not being a Cowboy for life. He's always been very opinionated and not, afraid to say what he wants. But I don't know. Yeah, I agree with you. I don't know if I've ever heard someone just call out their head coach like that. But they're the Cowboys. So.
Yeah, like Sam said, not much to add. It's a dumpster fire. I don't think there's any chemistry ruining in that locker room because it was non-existent to begin with. Jerry will write the year off and say, it's because Dak got injured late, and they'll go into the offseason with question marks, and it's unlikely they answer those question marks because Jerry Jones is at the helm and he's a narcissist and wants it to be all about him, and he wants to be the one to fix it, and he won't bring in someone that will get the credit to fix it. He wants to do it himself. So there's not much good coming out of that.
And you trade like a early day 3 pick for Jonathan Mingo. Last year, you traded an early day 3 pick for Trey Lance, who's not even playing. I mean, you will probably see him at some point, but you don't address the running back situation, which we've talked about all year. It turns out maybe running backs are a little bit more important than you would think, especially when you have that talent on,
Remember that time the NFL? Remember that time the NFL was not trying to play running backs? Like, what was that, last year or 2 years ago when the running backs had their open text and running backs aren't valuable? I wonder how that's working.
It's it's not what you want. And I know there's no Dak here, but this team's a mess. And the stadium's supposed to be a home field advantage, and it's anything but it's the least of their problems here. Yeah, this is a mess. And I know we talked about and you mentioned Hayes in a pretty epic rant a couple weeks ago, like the Cowboys aren't doing anything as long as Jerry Jones is in charge. Like, are we even sure that that doesn't lie under Stephen Jones too? Like, are we is there any
he has a part in it. He has
Yeah,
his
well,
part in
that's what
it.
I mean. Like, Jerry could step down today. Like, who's running the Cowboys? Like, and they're going to fix it? I don't think so.
Well, I
Is Bill
mean,
Belichick going to fix this team? I don't know. He's not
he
going to be given the
But
autonomy to do it.
Jerry Jones
So,
would never bring someone like Bill Belichick in. It's
No.
like you look at it,
Correct.
The Cowboys' heyday, and Jimmy Johnson got all the credit.
Parcells,
and then so it's like that rubs Jerry the wrong way of like with a guy that says I want to be the reason that we're winning, and he's never going to bring in a Bill Belichick who if given the autonomy maybe he fixes it, but like there's no end in sight because you have one of the worst owners in football now. Like Dan Snyder's gone, like that's and you see how the Commanders have fared since. So I don't know how this gets fixed, but yeah, like it was, an epic rant, and some of it seems, you're never going to win with Jerry Jones at the helm, but when are you? And with his, the tentacles that he would pass the team down to, that Stephen Jones will take the blame too. Well, so yeah, they're a mess.
See, my thing is with Stephen Jones is, Jerry, his daddy, is going to have the final say no matter what. So it's like Hal talking to George Steinbrenner. Good and damn well George is going to look at him and tell him, okay, cool, I'm going to listen to what you say, but I'm still going to make the final decision and do what I want. It's my team. And to your point, it's because he wants to be that guy, but yet he does not make any moves to be that guy. There's plenty of people that want to don the star on their helmet, and he's literally looked the opposite way and has made excuses several times. They let Amari Cooper basically walk for the garbage can that's at the end of your driveway in your neighborhood and said, well, Amari can't do this or whatever. Amari is still one of the best route runners in the NFL, period. And he keeps getting moved around for some odd reason. Yes, they draft well. They do these great things, right? They have Micah and stuff like that. But now you have so much money tied up in Dak and CD. What are you going to do? Because if you're going to pay Micah, who is arguably the best player on your team, what are you going to do? Because then you won't be able to pay other people. And there won't
Trayvon,
be able to
Dexter Lawrence. I mean, that's just two guys on the defense. Bland, I don't know when he's a free agent. There's a lot. Zach, you mentioned Zach Martin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It'll be very, very interesting, but we talked enough about the Cowboys. Power rankings. Chiefs are 1, but I'm going to tell you right now that it was a hard decision for me. Even though I just wrote it like that, I almost want to put the Lions at 1. So they're a very, very close one, especially with the way that they have been winning in convincing fashion, and the Chiefs have not been. But as we alluded to, a win's a win, and they are undefeated. So Lions 2, Ravens 3, Eagles 4, and new to this are the Steelers because they continue to win. Actually, you know what? I'm going to switch that out. That's going to be the Bills and the Steelers. The Bills and the Steelers. Yes. Two teams that are both playing phenomenal top-tier football at this point in time. So Bills and Steelers there. Yeah. Harrison, you have your power list rankings.
We have a new team at the bottom. So this is mixed around a lot. And the Panthers are kind of creeping out of bad territory. I hate that. They still have the highest point differential in the league at -143. But on this list, they're the only team with 3 wins, and the rest have 2. So we got Panthers at 28, Browns at 29, Raiders at 30, Jaguars at 31, and then the New York Football Giants have taken the mantle as the worst team in football because of losses to Panthers and Jaguars and the likes. So congratulations, New York.
You know you know who else I'm going to give congratulations to? Myself, because these two assholes would not give me any love in the beginning of this, and I'm going to give myself love because I went 10-3. These losers didn't. Sam went 8-5. Harrison went 9-4. He said he's going to keep trying to do these things and go from there. But the overall record, Sam is still winning by 2. He has a record of 98-48. I am 96-50, and Harrison is out in a lake in a boat with no paddles. I'm only 8 behind. He's only 8 behind. He's 88-58, and he's going to continue to go behind. because he's going to make
over
some
500.
He's gonna make some wild picks. So there's that. But yes, he's doing well. But in the sense of us, he's not. You two are cheerleaders and pom poms for each other. I'm gonna get you both and put your faces on the opposite one. Week 11 buys that we have are Panthers, Giants, Bucks, and Cardinals. Thank God that we don't have to see the Panthers and Giants. Thank God we don't have to see the Cardinals, and the Bucks just need the rest. So there's that. Thursday Night Football, Commanders at Eagles. Sam and I both have the Eagles. Harrison, you have the Commanders, again proving why you're not an Eagles fan. Why?
I don't believe in Nick Sirianni.
Okay, well, he's not playing, so whatever. Your point doesn't matter. Sunday, we have the Packers at Bears. We all have the Packers. Jags at Lions. We all have the Jags. I am lying because it's the Lions. Raiders at Dolphins. We all have the Dolphins. Rams at Pats, Rams, Browns at Saints, Ravens at Steelers. This is where we are a little bit off. Sam has the Ravens. Both Harris and I have the Steelers. Sam, why do you have the Ravens?
I don't know. They're both really good teams.
Yeah.
We just, kissed their butt at the top of the show, both of them, I think, a little bit. So,
coin flip game.
It's in Pittsburgh. I don't know. Coin flip. I would not be shocked either way, but I just think the Ravens are a better team.
But kissing was done, according to Sam. Vikings at Titans. We all have the Vikings. Colts at the Jets. Can we just not put this game on TV or play it at all? Sam and I both have the Colts. Harrison, you have the Jets. Why?
I also don't know.
That's enough said. Falcons at Broncos. Sam and I both have the Falcons. Harrison, you have the Broncos. I don't want to know why. Seahawks at Niners. We all have the Niners. Chiefs at Bills. We all have the Bills, which means we're probably going to not win this because the Chiefs continue to win. Bengals at Chargers. Sam and I both have the Chargers. Harrison has the Bengals. Monday Night Football, Texans at Cowboys, and we all have the Cowboys because they're the number one football team in football, and by football I mean Pee-wee, and that's it, and they're not going to win, so we all have the Texans. Gentlemen, we have some basketball to talk about.
Nice segue.
Because that's the only thing good about Dallas right now is the basketball team.
They're mid.
Cavs, yeah, they are mid because Luka's out here flopping and acting as if he got elbowed in the face and didn't even get elbowed. He should be fined for like 6 games for doing that. I'm tired of his flopping. Anyway, a team that's not flopping, they're 11-0. It's the Cavs. Cavs are out here doing their damn thing. I haven't been in basketball mode yet. I've been just too busy with football. But I will start because I'm going to start betting very, very soon. Harrison, why are the Cavs 11-0 right now?
So they are playing amazing basketball. The way they're moving the basketball, they're getting contributions up and down the lineup from Evan Mobley, Donovan Mitchell, Darius Garland, Isaac Okoro, Jared Allen. Like they are a full moving machine. Like they are a beast. I wrote off kind of the 6-0, 7-0 start. I was like, okay, cool. I've watched them the last couple of games, and they are just humming right now. And they have a lot of firepower. They're hitting threes at a high rate. They're defending really well, and it's not a fluke at all. Not a fluke at all. They are going to continue to be a beast in the East, and watch out for them.
I'm just happy we can put this Donovan Mitchell trade thing to rest since he signed up, and can Jared Allen and Mobley exist in the front court together? It seems like that's working out okay. So
they're all existing really well, and it's it's even Garland and Mitchell, where last year they kind of took turns in a sense, and you could see Mitchell at some point saying, I'm playing for a contract, I'm playing to be the guy. He's been much more not just a guy, but they've been sharing the ball really well. Both of them have been super dangerous, and when you have that type of continuity and chemistry all throughout your lineup, it just pays dividends for the rest of the lineup and the guys that maybe don't get that amount of shine, like a Karis LeVert and Isaac Okoro, who are just shooting at a ridiculous clip. So, they're a full team. they play really well team basketball and the stuff you love as a basketball junkie. To see a team like that where it's not just one guy or two guys, it's a full line of guys that are dangerous on any given night.
Who's going to be dangerous on any given night? My Brooklyn Nets, because they're above these two teams right now in standings, and that's the Bucks and the Sixers, who are absolutely struggling and are at the bottom of the barrel right now. Why in the hell is this happening with so much money invested in several top-tier superstars, and it's going absolutely nowhere at this point?
Different reasons for both, but similar in some respect. Obviously, the Bucks are without Middleton, who is their defensive stopper, and we talked about it last week. They just can't stop a nosebleed when it comes to the backcourt. The Sixers are completely injured. Embiid hasn't played yet. Tyrese Maxey is out for the foreseeable future with a hamstring. So basically, you're down to Paul George and role players. So, yeah, if they can hopefully squeak out some wins, over the next 20 or so games, they can stay in touch with kind of the playoff race, but it could go south early if they continue to kind of lose at this clip. So concerning for both.
I think I just pulled it up. I wanted to pull this quote up from Giannis because if you didn't see his post-game comments in the locker room after losing to the Knicks, it was very, very interesting. He said, "Did we compete the previous game? Yes. Did we compete the two previous games, Cavs and Cavs? Yes. Did we compete today? No. That's something you can control. If you're going to go out there and you're not going to compete, you're not going to win a game. Sometimes you compete your ass off and you don't win the game. But at least you give yourself a chance. We played great last night. We came to New York. We lost by 30. You got to compete. Are we okay with not competing? I don't know. I'm not okay with that shit. So we got to do better. We got to do a better job competing. We got Boston in 2 days. If we don't compete, we're going to lose by 30. Simple as that. I love that he's very direct, says what he has to say. I know if you watch the actual video, he at one point says something and people said that he was talking to, like he was looking at one of the players. They've debunked that and said he was talking to an actual reporter when he looked at that angle.
Yeah.
But even if he was talking to one of the players, they got to take that because he's right. They're not playing. They're not playing well at all. And to have two superstars on their team and be at the bottom of the barrel, and be healthy, it's very, very weird. Very, very weird.
Well, they only lost to the Celtics by 6 that next game, so
that's an
maybe they competed. Yeah, that's an improvement. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Is Giannis a Buck this time next year?
That's a great question.
No.
I'm going to feel like it's a no. I hate it, but I'm starting to feel like it's a no. I don't know where he goes, but
I think he's
too. I don't know that one.
He's too competitive, and I know he's he seems like a very, very loyal person, and I'm sure he wants to stay there based on what he did the last time. I think he wants to stay there, but unless this turns around and they somehow have a massive run, I don't think he stays unless there's some big changes. And even still, I feel that he should definitely get out of Milwaukee. But
yeah, I think it has to go one way or the other. I mean, obviously, if they have a massive run, they're right in it. Then yeah, he's still a Buck. But if they go the other way, where they're 2-8 and they're one of the bottom of the barrel teams, which I don't think they will be. I think I
agree.
There are teams in the league that they should beat on paper, and they will beat, and I think they'll just be middle of the road. And then at that point, I don't think the front office will make a decision one way or the other to be like, all right, we have to move off this and trade him for pieces. I don't think they're ready to blow it up yet, and he's locked into a pretty long-term contract, and he doesn't seem like the guy that will force their hand. I guess he could. I guess that could change. He's never had that history, so it's a good question because it just depends on a lot of different variables.
I'd probably say he forced their hand last season for their head coach that he got up out of there after them having that. I mean, it might not have been allowed outside, but I'm guaranteeing he went to that front office because they're not going to do anything without him saying yes or no.
Definitely has pull.
Suns, Thunder, Warriors, 8-2, top of the West. What's going on there? They hear that since I have not been watching, they hear that the Suns are up there doing their thing, especially after last year. It's good to hear that. Thunder, I already know. I'm mad my boy Chet is down for a little bit, which is unfortunate. I'm glad to see. I heard Kuminga has been the one that's helping the Warriors immensely, and I heard a lot of teams are clamoring for his services, which I highly doubt is going to happen at this point. So why are they up there at the top of the West right now?
Yeah, so Thunder, obviously everyone thought that they were going to continue on the path that they were on. With the Suns, simply coaching change. They added a little bit of depth. They drafted well and picked up some pieces that are performing well. But getting a new coach, Mike Budenholzer, ironically, who was the Bucks' old coach that coached the Bucks to one of the best defenses in the league, and then got fired for some odd reason, and now the Bucks are into a title. Yeah. And now the Bucks are in purgatory. But just a coaching change at the top. They're running some different stuff. They're playing a little bit harder on defense, and their stars are being their stars. And then with the Warriors look like the Cavs. They've kind of got rid of the Clay cloud, so to speak, and some of the bad vibes there with, Clay struggling and them trying to force it to him a lot. And now they're just spreading the ball like old Warriors basketball. They're not as talented as those old Warriors teams, but they are playing the type of basketball that Steve Kerr wants them to play. So, back in the playoff mix for the Warriors.
Good to hear that. Good to hear that and see that. What's also good to hear, everybody, is Sam is sending out Evites for Friday because it's a very special event.
Harrison's house.
Yeah. True. He's sending the Evites out for Harrison's house because Harrison's hosting. There will be snacks, all types of snacks, as Harrison loves them.
Love snacks.
And it will be the biggest event of the year. Mike Tyson, Jake Paul. Harrison said he is going to share his Netflix password with anybody that wants it, that can't make it to the party. Sam, what should we bring to the party?
Well, that's a great question.
I'm bringing Mike Tyson punch to the party.
Okay. So what's in a Mike Tyson punch? All right.
If you have it, you're just gonna wake up in a scene in The Hangover. So just know that.
Okay.
There might be a tiger behind you. I don't know.
All I ask is that you guys don't clog my toilet.
Fair. I can't make any promises.
I'm not watching this shit.
You're watching it.
8 o'clock Netflix. That's weird. It's on a Friday.
Is it free?
If you have Netflix, yeah.
No, I have Netflix. I might get rid of my Netflix.
You're not gonna get rid of your Netflix.
I'm gonna cancel Netflix just so I can say I can.
Harrison is going to be watching this. There's no doubt in my mind.
I promise you, I will not.
You should. I'm not going to be here. I'm going to be in Philadelphia, but I'm definitely going to watch it. I'm going to watch it on my phone. If so,
you shouldn't.
I'm going to because I just need to see it.
Rocky was in Philly.
The Rocky statue is great. I've been to it many times.
I have as well.
Steps. Yeah.
I'm good.
Who's going to win?
Liddell.
Who's going to win?
Yeah. Is there a winner in this?
You're the winner because you're going to be watching it. You're the winner.
Anyone that watches this, they get the L of the week next week.
They get the automatic L.
Start the pod.
Automatic L at the beginning.
I'm logging off. I think I'm out next week.
I think that's a good Instagram poll for the week. Are you watching, the bout of the year?
I'm very curious to see how many people will actually be watching this because I know there's going to be a lot of people watching this. Don't forget it got moved. So that means if it's on Friday, I wonder if the fight is still at AT&T Stadium.
Is that where it was supposed to be?
Yes.
Are they going to get curtains?
Probably not. That was going to be my next question.
Jerry Jones deserves this if it's there.
It's supposed to be there. I don't know if it's moved or not, but it was supposed to be there. Let's see. Tyson.
Yep, it is.
It's still there? Yep.
Originally, it was supposed to be there. You're right.
Okay. Is it still there now?
Netflix's website. So
Yeah,
4 days,
it's
2
still
hours.
there.
It's still there.
Yep. This
Everything
is just
you need to know.
all of our
there's an
stars are
undercard.
aligning.
Oh man, there is an undercard.
All of our stars are aligning.
This is why, for Cowboys fans, this is why Jerry Jones doesn't give a damn about your team. He just wants to put asses in seats, and this is a prime example of it because he's still going to sell out all the games. He's still going to have all these events, college football games, and it doesn't matter what the Cowboys do or don't do.
So this is this is per Netflix's website. Sanctioned fight approved by the Texas Department of Licensing and Regulations. Consists of 8 2-minute rounds instead of the usual 3-minute rounds. Both boxers will wear 14-ounce gloves, heavier than the standard gloves. And there is an undercard here. So there's a lot going on here, man.
I'm done.
Harrison, come over. We'll watch it.
I'm locking my doors, turning the lights off, canceling my Netflix.
It's Halloween for him. He's turning the lights off. Get off my yard.
No candy out front. I'm done. I've had enough. I got nothing.
He's gonna put his head under a pillow and have his phone under there and just watch it under there secretly. I know it. It's okay. It's okay, Harrison. Who do you have even if you're not watching this? How about that?
The Cards.
Sam, who do you have if you're
Can you
watching?
Imagine Kyler Murray going up against either of these guys.
Please do not entertain this. Who do you have, and are you watching it?
When was the last time Mike Tyson fought legitimately? Like, I don't even know. I don't even know what to think because it's Mike freaking Tyson. I don't want to be the guy to say Mike Tyson's going to lose to a YouTuber. Like, I'm not going to do that. I don't know what the odds are. I know nothing. I'm not going to lie like I'm a boxing fan here, but I have no idea.
Tyson's last competitive fight was in 2005, but he most recently faced Roy Jones Jr. in 2020. Mm-hmm. Exhibition match that ended in a draw. I'll take the draw.
That's what the result is going to be because of all the rules and stipulations. But I hope somehow, some way, Mike Tyson just knocks the piss out of Jake Paul. So that'd be great.
He's the underdog here. I think Jake Paul's minus 250, Tyson's plus 190.
Okay.
Vegas knows.
Yeah. All right. I think we spent enough time here. Everybody,
way too much.
We know Harrison is going to come in with a concert tee that's going to have Jake Paul on one side and Mike Tyson. So just get ready for the clips next week.
Was Jake Paul the guy with the Charizard, the PSA?
That's his brother. That's his brother Logan.
Mm.
His brother, yeah. That's the one that fights in WWE. Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
Yep,
cool.
That's him. Yep. Great time. Sam, close this out, please.
Yeah, this one's done. 151 in the books. Thanks so much for listening. Thank you. Tell your friends. Thank you to the veterans out there, Papa Hayes, and many more that listen to this podcast. So for Brandon and Harrison, I'm Sam. Thanks so much for listening. And peace.
Can't wait for Harrison to give us the updates on this damn fight. Love y'all. Bye.
Go Birds.